Before I try to explain, I should perhaps remind you first that Mondstadt is the city of freedom. As for Inazuma, it's known as the nation. The Raiden Shogun is both the nation's most powerful ruler and its deity. The eternity in question is her endless and unchanging will to rule. As such, she relies on the Tri-Commission to regulate the nation's affairs and the Sakoku Decree to limit the people. The Shogun wishes to keep Inazuma in stasis, allowing the
Seems like every god has their own.
Of course, this is my own limited understanding. Perhaps the Shogun believes that visions grant people the power to change, and that her eternity whatever the case. The fact is that the Raiden Shogun has dispatched the Tenryou, and this statue.
But if that's the case, wouldn't you say?
Only outlanders such as yourselves would ever dare speak out so directly against the Raiden Shogun. And yet, I agree. The Vision Hunt Decree is something that simply should.
Huh? Hey, are you okay? You look like you're not.
Sound? What sound?
Yeah, you touched the statue, and then.
Aspirations? Have you heard it before? That when a person's ambition reaches, that is where visions come from. And so if what you just said, then the ambitions of these people are stronger than I imagined. All right, time for the next stop on our tour of Narukami Island, the Kamisato residence.
Finally!
Are you here to... Let me amuse myself. Over here! Boof! Blink!
So, this is the kind of place where the big shots of Inazuma live, huh? Paimon kinda expected it to be snazzier.
Welcome at last to the Kamisato residence, honored.
Is this the Shirazage Hime... Oh,
Yes. As the daughter of the Yashiro, consider it a time-honored tradition within the Yashiro Commission. Forgive me if this is an unwelcome surprise.
makes sense.
Please forgive my lack of courtesy for receiving you in this fashion, as I have awaited your arrival with great at present in Inazuma. In the name of the vision, though the Yashiro Commission serves the Shogun, it is the people with whom we share. A commission's power rises and falls with the traveler. Lend us your power, and we can... Oh.
See, milady, it's just like a...
No, please! Wait! I will introduce you to the Raiden Shogun on one condition. You must...
What are your
They pertain to three whose visions were taken from them. Perhaps once you've met them, you will...
A warrior who guards a village, a former samurai who helped carry out the Vision Hunt decree, and a swordmaster determined to become the best in the world.
Correct. Please do all you can to help them. I will await your return here. Then...
I'm sure you'll do.
See,
Why are you doing this?
Precisely. It's much too sudden. The children are desperate for you to take them out to play. Please, we urge you to reconsider.
that must be the guy Ayaka told us about. Let's go.
Ah, you must also... Tejima has protected this place, keeping out the treasure hoarders, fending off... But now, all of a sudden, we will gladly apologize if...
If you want my opinion, something to do, it's clear that Tejima had done nothing wrong, and still they confiscated his vision. I can't claim to fully understand it, but I could tell that he'd lost something very... Truth be told, we aren't sure whether trying to keep him here is the...
Seems like he's a well... You must be Tejima. So what...
Me? It's not a question of why I want to leave, but a question of true... And what made me want to come here 30 years ago? I don't have answers to those questions, because I can't remember anymore. In the past, I knew I wanted to stay here. But what...
Okay. Well, in that case, if we help you But if you can't remember... Oh! Maybe if you just try a little hard...
Oh, that reminds me. Last time...
I keep a diary?
Oh, yes, you do. And what's more, I remember...
Perfect! So if we want to keep Tejima from leaving...
If you don't mind, we will leave you to find the diary.
This looks like Tejima's... Let's see what... Today, the villagers and I got to... Today, I helped rescue it. I went kite flying. Seems... Huh? I went to pray at the shrine again today and stayed there a while. Now that's the kind of info we're looking for. So this is the... interesting. Looking at the... But anyway, if he had this with him all the time... like it's been disturbed. Must be something pretty amazing. It looks like Konda Village. Sounds so familiar. Where is that place again? Huh. But he's been here for 30 years. Well, let's go give
Well, I'll be. That's certainly my handwriting. And I guess the Omamori and... Still, it's clear that I was over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. Anything that I could share. And just look at all the things that did happen over the... How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Love, regret, everything. No. After all, I've forgotten who she was. Her face, her voice. It's as if she'd never been in my life to begin with. As if all these years have been nothing but a... I think maybe not. Although, what if she were to turn up eventually, only to find I didn't remember so much as her name? When I think about it like that, how curious. What? I shall remain here.
Tejima seems to be dealing okay, but still, it makes Paimon really sad. Seems it's just like Ayaka and Thoma were saying. If that certainly explains the state at least we were able to help. According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision is a samurai from the Tenryou Commission. Whew! We're finally on our own way again! I suppose it's time we find... They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining, but why would they take action? Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency provisions?
The entire clan is counting on that food. We demand an explanation. How many times do I have to say it? I don't...
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential.
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this!
Oh, huh? And who are you? Wanna...
What? We heard the commotion and came to see what the matter was.
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area. In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he's keeping the provisions for himself. I just know...
No one seems to care about us. It's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule the nation.
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us. Maybe we should talk to Kurosawa.
I've never even heard of these. I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But either way, my own family can barely get by as it is. Now, if you'll excuse me, that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was slacking off in my work. Apparently.
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce the Vision Hunt Decree. What?
To be perfectly honest, I don't... All I know is that I will perform certain things every month. And it's not just that.
Does it have to do with the missing emergency?
I didn't take any. Like I said, to top it all off, my house was just raided by If you don't believe me, go find the treasure hoarders.
But we better confirm. Let's go. We should be able to follow...
We really outdid ourselves. All those samurai houses packed with goods.
You haven't seen anything. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic you demand, but
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after.
Another test subject.
You're open. Try. Lightning flash.
Oh, there goes all the Mora. Well, come on, boss.
not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? We could use someone like you. Kurosawa. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh? Just our
So what did you see inside?
food supplies. You kidding? That place was I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening it myself once we got back. But now that you've caught us, how about we make it...
You've got a deal.
Huh?
What the?
There's nothing in.
Yeah. Oh, and they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods store, a Miss Aoi. We're talking tons of Mora here. We better talk to this Miss Aoi and get... As for you guys, you're free to go. Just...
Yes. So we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs. Does that...
Shut it.
How can I improve my culinary skills? Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. Or perhaps there's something... Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa.
Whoa, whoa! Let's not get ahead of our... How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much?
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost. So, he started writing out IOUs to...
So that's how he was getting... But why did he have to purchase a usual amount? If the prices increased, couldn't he...
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been carefully calculating how much they needed to sustain them each time. Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough, especially after such long and careful planning. So he deemed it...
Wow. And no one ever appreciated what he did.
People's attitudes will always reflect their if you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supplies from... Of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency provisions and never tell anyone, I'm still not too clear myself. If you're still curious, I see. Most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no choice but to sell the...
Sword?
Oh, didn't he tell you? I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was a gift. In hindsight, I regret that I never made an offer on it. Everything has its price. Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps it'll Oh, but before you go...
But we...
Information. Don't worry. I won't charge much for information about Kurosawa. Nothing we ever just...
At least we now know where the emergence... Let's go talk to Kurosawa. What are you doing here all by your...
I presented them with a choice. Either they left. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders?
That just about sums it up.
Strange. Is that... I don't really have any such recollection. Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put my... But I could not deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow... This sword was... I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade. And what did he say? It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken. All I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade... And... said to me...
Hey! If you look carefully, there's... Can you recognize the words?
Virtue? Somehow those two words taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. But what use are virtue and justice? I purchased the provisions for those in... The Tenryo Commission seized my vision. And the very people... And the irony of all of it is... I'm incapable of being a good person. Yet
another trouble. When we get the chance, let's speak to Thoma. In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword. Yeah. Seems like, fortunately for us, you don't have... Let's go find the next... The third person who had their vision taken is supposed to be a Hyman heard that he's the present. This is his dojo.
Nanako, don't worry. Those thugs that challenged the dojo were strong, but he
Maybe, but things have gotten dangerous.
It's just because he's been possessed, that's all.
Hey there!
Who are you? I don't care whether you're trespassers or just here to harass us while Sensei is in... Don't make me draw my blade, or you...
No! You got it so wrong. We just came here to...
Disciples?
Yep. We've heard all about them, but then we got here and over...
From the way you're dressed, please, accept my apologies. We've had so... You haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. Sensei got possessed recently, and he's still recovering. He's not able to take on any new disciples for the time being. I see you are earnest in your pursuit. Okay, how about Sensei's name is Domon. And though self-taught, he mastered the art of the sword to a high level. He once said that his goal was to become the best, and so, even while training us. But then...
Not long ago, Sensei, he says the strangest things over, and Junya and I have discussed it, and we both think... But if I'm honest...
The Grand Narukami...
You haven't heard of it? It's the largest shrine on Narukami Island. The head shrine maiden is reputed to have very close ties with the almighty Shogun herself. Not that we'd have any means of involving the head shrine maiden, of course. But even one of the ordinary shrine maidens from the Grand Narukami Shrine would have clear power and authority to perform an... So don't worry, Nanako. Sensei is... The exorcism will take place this evening. You're both...
So, Losing your vision can cause possession?
Shh. So you decided to come. It's a good thing you didn't arrive any earlier. Just now, when Nanako was attending, when she asked him who the people were, he suddenly it looked like he was in great distress. All the while he kept calling those names. One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's. His senior, in fact. But Sensei defeated him in a duel many years ago. Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. Thankfully, the ritual has now begun. All we can do is patiently await the... Please, excuse me for a moment.
Huh? Who's that sneaking around? We won't let them get away with it! Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up.
How? Are you sure you're Domon's disciples? Unless... I guess...
Excuse me? We're the ones asking the questions here, and what are you doing sneaking around?
Bad news? I'll have you know I trained I don't care to talk about that time anymore.
His senior?
Anzai? Yes, because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone. When we were young, we trained under the same sword master. I had begun training 5 years before him, and everyone looked up to practitioners of Make-Yoshi Sui art, seek to achieve, but Domon was different. The first thing he did when he joined was Sensei scolded him and told him that the art of the sword should not be used for such vain ends. I thought so too at the time. But Domon, only then did I realize that it was Domon who had long since freed his mind from all agitation. He was consumed by his singular desire to become the...
Sure sounds like he meant business.
Because until he arrived, I was convinced that I would succeed. Of all the disciples, I was the most gifted. I had trained the longest. Domon's arrival changed everything. When we sparred, later, I heard that he sparred with Sensei, too. Sensei was advanced in years by then, and unfortunately, that match used up every last... After that, I wanted nothing further to do with him. Deep down, though, I still... So, when I heard rumors that he had lost his mind, my first reaction was to dismiss them as false. How could he, of all people... I decided to quietly come and see if it were true. Then... To my complete astonishment, So you see, I came here... Okay, you've heard my story.
Seems like we got it wrong this time. Still, Paimon's...
Does that mean he's just lost his mind? But
Nanako, please.
I am sorry. With what powers I have, I can find no sign of any but spirits may take a myriad of forms in this world, many of which I cannot claim to have witnessed myself, and all is certainly not lost. For
Lady Yai? Is that...
The head shrine maiden of the Grand Naruka?
Correct. Lady Yai is most knowledgeable indeed. I am unable to say for certain whether an
Excuse me, Miss...
That won't be necessary. All that is required of you is your timely arrival at the Grand Naruka. I must leave now, but we...
Who'd have thought Lady Yai herself?
Do you mean to say that Sensei isn't...
No, that's not what I meant at all. I just mean this is Lady Yai. Anyway, given that you've traveled all this way just to meet our sensei.
Sure. Who knows? Maybe we'll...
The insolent shall be punished.
Do you think that's Lady Yai? Oh, no wonder Junior was so Also, is it just Paimon? It was
Keep away. I gave up the art of the sword.
As you can see, Domon has persisted in this state for some—
Lady Yai, it must be a This is nothing like him at all.
I'm sorry. It is clear to me that you're— yes. Unable to cope with the tremendous pressure he was under, he suffered a spiritual collapse. With his wits as one who is thrown into the sea, though he fights back desperately against his predicament. It does not— As for what has triggered this change, I believe it must be the loss of his—
Stripped of his ambition? But Lady Yai, even without his ambition, what—
Your school practices make Yoshi stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. What a fine notion that would be if any in this world could ever hope to achieve it. There was once one who claimed to be indifferent to rank and reward, and who fled enraged when defeated by his junior. And then there was an aged swordmaster who was aggrieved enough that he crossed blades with a disciple he himself— Then, what of the one who crossed blades with his own sensei and beloved fellow disciple, and defeated them both?
Lady Yai, I'm not sure I understand.
The path of the sword master is filled with twists and turns. It requires one to take their sword firmly in both hands. Only a deep commitment to his ambition to become the best. When that ambition disappeared, he... much like a—
Poor sensei. To think he's been suffering so greatly.
I'm sorry. It's all Father.
That's enough.
Huh? Isn't that on? Did he follow us the whole—
Ansai, why are there two of you? You're here for revenge, aren't you?
You're right to assume that my feelings towards you are far from— It's been so long now that I made peace with it. I don't think most of the people you beat along the way would hold it against you. Now I know that we can't place our hopes in you, but that is no reason to strip them of—
But what if one day, I put everything I had into trying to become the best? If there's a chance they'll end up like me one day, I'd rather they stay where they are now than go any further down this path.
Have you asked them what they think?
Sensei, after you rescued me from the hands of— I can't know whether I will suffer in— I want to keep going until—
Nanako's far from the only one.
Goodness.
You see? Being stripped of your ambition is something that's never happened. So, just as you are not in the same position—
I'm sorry to have made you worry for me. I no longer have the resolve to become the best in the world. But as your sensei, this is my promise.
You can count on that. But I am now used to the life of a wanderer. I do not belong in the dojo any— Well, don't just stand there staring at me.
So even though his ambition was taken away—
Traveler, a moment.
So, the wind that blows from afar carries fresh life to these shores. For us to meet now is premature. Nevertheless, you set foot on these islands at precisely the right moment. I have high hopes for you, child. Don't disappoint me.
Ooh, Lady Yai seems to have taken a real interest in you. She seems super mysterious. We can come back to it in— Guess who fulfilled all your wishes?
Traveler, Paimon. It is a pleasure to finally— I have heard all about how you helped our three friends. My sincerest thanks to you.
Yeah. Ayaka.
Because now that you have done the 3 things I asked of you, I consider you to be my friends. As you will observe, I dispense with the screen for Thoma also.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, wait a second. But isn't Thoma your...
Oh. Paimon, you are most entertaining. Thoma is first and foremost my friend.
Oh, okay then. Ayaka, you seem pretty different.
Back to the matter at hand. You have now witnessed the pain of those deprived of their visions. What are your feelings on what you have seen? Perhaps in the eye, thunder's roar, lightning, but I believe that surely you understand what they must do. It seems that perhaps now you can appreciate my feelings on all of this. You will? Really? Naturally.
All right, bravo, my lady.
See? I told you she wouldn't reject. Now then, given that the remainder of our discussion pertains to matters of a more...
Well, here we are again.
Please continue without me.
So, what's the
This is land that was gifted to the Yashiro Commission by the Shogun. The Kamisato clan has the exclusive right to plan, build, and repair any property on this land, and even to allow or deny access. Such privileges exist due to the Yashiro Commission's role in managing ceremonial affairs. Oftentimes, it is not appropriate to discuss details.
Oh,
Once the number of ceremonial affairs conducted in the city began to decline, our forebears built a tea house here. Only members of the Yashiro Commission are permitted—
Makes sense. Perfect.
In any case, we can talk freely here. I presume you have a few questions that you wish to ask me? The almighty Shogun, she inspires— It was her almost The issue is this. For the vast majority of people, after all, it is but a tiny minority of people who receive visions. Moreover, because of this, the attitude of most—
How can they be like that?
Nevertheless—
Resistance? You mean like an army fighting a—
Yes. Many who have lost or fear losing their visions have rallied together to say a little more about Sangonomiya. Historically, there has always been some conflict between them and the shogunate of Narukami Island due to their different belief systems. But I do wonder whether there may be some other agenda behind their resistance movement, beyond merely fighting the Vision Hunt decree. Of course! We have tried on numerous occasions. Unfortunately, each time a proposal to repeal the decree, they invariably adopt a stance of unconditional support for the Shogun's decisions. They have no interest in discussing anything. It almost makes one wonder whether they had a hand in the Shogun's sudden decision to—
Ooh, Paimon!
Oh? What—
Have you got a plan yet to fight—
To be honest, we do not.
What?
Please, do not forget that challenging the Vision Hunt decree is tantamount to challenging a deity.
So...
Well, for the moment, all we can do is— For example, by
You're telling Paimon that there are people out there who can—
Don't underestimate the talents of the craftspeople in Hanamizaka. To the naked eye, their counterfeits are indistinguishable from the genuine article. The problem we are facing right now is that Master Masakatsu, who was providing us with counterfeit visions, has recently been arrested by the Tenri—
Darn!
Yes. We knew it was not a long-term solution, and that it was only a matter of time before it would be exposed. But we cannot simply abandon Master Masakatsu. Exactly. I feel the same way. When you are ready, go to Hanamizaka.
Just hand it over. You don't want. If you think your elemental powers are enough, believe me, you're not the first of your kind we've encountered, and we've seen.
Can't you make an exception? I just got this.
So this is the Vision Hunt decree in action, huh? We can't just sit around and watch. Psst. Huh? There's someone. Come on. What's going on?
Shh, quiet.
Hey, this is. Huh?
Shh. If you don't keep your voice down, I will.
All right.
Wise choice.
What should we do now? He's already. This is your.
Many thanks, Miss Yoimiya. If you hadn't swapped me a fake just now, I'm sure I would have lost it.
No worries. You put on quite the convincing performance.
Oh, so that's what's going on here.
Think nothing of it. Oh, right. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Yoimiya.
Practically everyone on Hanamizaka knows Yoimiya. She's the queen of the summer festival. Without her...
Whoa, that's quite the introduction.
Stop it. As for thanking me, you'd be better off thanking Master Masakatsu. His handiwork allowed me to keep my own vision. Whew, I can't even
Yes, Master Masakatsu is a good man. It's...
Master Matsukatsu?
Huh? Do you guys know him too? You don't say. Then it sounds like the Shirasagi Himegimi has a plan, but if I just march straight in there by myself, I'd probably get... So, what about if...
Sure, welcome to the team.
Seems like I finally got a new job to do. Besides hiding vision bearers in my shop, that is. So, Master Masakatsu is being held at the police station.
Whoa, talk about a
Not bad, huh?
What time to...
Please speak to President Song. I'm just a helper.
Ad Astra. Error.
imagined.
Come on, this way. I certainly wouldn't want to end. We should split up.
You sure?
Yes,
I must withdraw.
Talk about a big door! It seems we need to collect something shaped like Magatama in order to open it.
Show me what you've got!
take this! Attack! Watch out! Coming at ya!
Watch your step!
Feeling lucky? Coming at ya! Hiya! A proper send-off! Christina with love. Hey there!
Bested.
I must do my duty! Feeling lucky?
I must withdraw.
Who goes there?
This one's got your name on it! Hey there!
I've lost.
This wall looks a bit odd. Maybe there's some special trick to it. These guys seem a lot tougher than usual. Paimon wonders if that armor over there has anything to do with the source of their strength.
This one's got your name on it!
I must withdraw.
Battle formation! Teach me a lesson.
Watch
your step.
Now you shall perish! Shine down under full sight.
Speed up got lucky that time.
Strike first! Watch your step!